Welcome to the Six Figure Author Experiment, where we help you break through your first or next $100,000 goal. Parental discretion is advised. Now, let's get on with the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Six Figure Author Experiment, Leah, my podcast about chaos in the author world, or whatever we want to talk about.
Woo-hoo!
Lee, me and you haven't seen each other in a while. Like, what you been up to? How's things going?
It's great. I've been in the writing cave, which I love. I did a book marketing boot camp in June and July. I'm going to run it again in January, just 1 week, or I'm getting my friends to actually teach more so I don't have to do as much. So yeah, I'm actually just removing stuff from my schedule right now so I can be in the writing cave, but I'm always looking forward to like connecting with authors and talking about being authors. So I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have Jennifer on. So Jennifer is our guest today. And one of the great things about this podcast is whenever we're super excited to talk to somebody, like that's when we record episodes at this point. And I'm so excited to have Jennifer on the call today. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, guys. I'm super pumped to be here. I literally was one of the founders here. I remember when you joined did this experiment, you're like, Russell, you were like, Lee, you want to do this crazy thing? And Lee was like, hell yeah. You were just like,
you were there in New Orleans.
Yes. I loved it. Yes. Yes. So I've been a fan and now I'm a guest. So I'm pretty pumped.
Amazing. Well, and I've been a fan of yours for a long time. Do you want to introduce yourself for anyone who might not know who you are?
Yeah. Yes. New York Times bestselling author, just hit 60 books right now, been in the business over 35 years and been around the block a time or two, which is it's one of those awful cliches, like wisdom is wasted on the young and all of that good stuff. But I love that I can come to the writing world from 12 years old. I was like, okay, so writers write, and I'm going to write my first book right now, before all of that chaos of prepping for writing or being a writer or having the right equipment. I was like, oh, there was no internet. It was like dinosaur. And it was like, okay, how do I be a writer? Oh, you write. Okay, cool. So I just started writing my books. And then it was much later, I realized it's making a business out of it and making money out of it. That's the real complications.
Yeah, I was talking to someone about how making an ecosystem and doing all these different things and making something that works together. And one person responded and said, "Well, it's lucky I don't ever want to turn this into a business and turn this and I always come back to that question with but do you want more impact?
Yeah.
Do you want more people reading your work? Do you want it to carry further? And regardless of whether you want to make $1 billion or you want to just make enough money to fund the marketing and sales of your book, there needs to be an engine to make you nothing grows on its own. So sometimes publishers will put a lot of money behind a thing, or it doesn't have to be you pushing that growth necessarily, but for growth to happen, somebody has to be expanding it beyond just you.
Yeah. And when you start, that's the whole thing with writers now. People don't realize there's so many paths. This doesn't have to be your full-time business making money, because then it becomes a job. But I mean, I remember back in the day, when you start young, for me, there's just all that raw passion. That's your true north. And my only reader was my mom. And she even read the sex scenes in my romance. She was like, oh, this was spicy or whatever. But she was the one who showed up for me. And then it became, how the hell do I get more people to read my work and feel all the things I want them to feel? And that funneled into another thing. Now you've got to put yourself out there. Then it's a query letter back in the day when there was no self-pubbing, and there was, it went to an editor and it stayed on an editor's desk for a year. And then you had to learn, while they're working on that for the year, you had to learn to disattach and then write your second book. So that can go to an editor. So I feel like I almost learned in a vacuum of my own, failure, doing this, doing that, okay, this is what I've got to do. And now, it's crazy, but sometimes all the information, because like it's a wealth of information, can freeze people. They're like, oh my God, like, do I write? Do I market? Do I do this? Do I do that? And so a lot of times when I'm teaching, I'm like, sometimes you have to strip it down to the very first step, which is your story, the product. Like that's where it all starts. So that's like always my true north. And I think that's important.
Yeah, I am constantly thinking about product-led growth,
Yeah.
which is this like tech term that companies like Slack and Dropbox and like like the Facebook, like all of these companies, they grow by people using the product and then sharing that product with other people. And like it's an entire string of marketing. And like we all as authors run product-led growth companies because
Yeah.
our job is to grow the like is to someone buys the product, uses the product, and then shares the product out to between 3 and 7 people. And so in that world, like even if you want to make just the writing better, like you are doing marketing because like you're intentionally trying to make the book more shareable and hookier so more people have to share it out.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Or even pitching. Like, again, like I had to learn early, this is how you write a one thing query letter. And it's like, holy crap, I have to take 400 pages and like get it down to a thing. So, and also with the platforms with growth, like what you were saying, like it has changed so much over the years. Like you think when you first started, like writers were like, these like mysterious people who were kind of like behind their platform. And now we're so our lives are kind of like exposed, and it's like get on video to really have the authenticity, open yourself up to bleed a little bit, not just in your stories, which to me was a safe place, but that balance. How much do you open up your life to really connect with people and that authenticity? And then where does the space come to save some for you in your books? To me, that's always been a balance because I'm an extrovert introvert. Once I'm in my house, it takes like a bomb to get me out of it. But my husband will sit there and beg. He'll be like, if I get you to this party, they fight over who sits next to you because you're the coolest person at the party. Because once I get out, I go, holy crap, I really do love people. This is awesome. And then I get all this fodder. But minute I come through my door, my husband is like, crap, I can't get her back out again. So it's a weird balance, like being a writer and having all of that. And then, you know what I mean? So to me, it's always a struggle as you go through different stages and what you want to share, what you want to bring people. And I find writers are becoming much more vulnerable. Like, again, and I feel that with the Substack paid, with the Ream paid, I think this is the first time I see in the community, we get to share the raw stuff, but there's a tiny bit of a barrier where we have safety. And that's the paid plug. That's Patreon, whatever, because we're getting for the first time to build our own community and decide. You know what I mean? So through that thing, I think that dollar bill or $5 or whatever, you're saying you're coming into my world and I'm gonna like show you things that not anybody else gets. That is super cool to me.
That I'm struggling with this because I also am like, I'm an introvert and I wanted to hide away from the world and like just read my books, be left alone. And then I poured so many, I think we read so much, then it starts to overflow, right? Right around 12, you're like, oh my gosh. And that overflow, creativity is about sharing with others. It's bringing something to life that through your mind, it wouldn't exist without you. So it's intensely private, but the only reason you want to do it, you don't want to just sit in a room and look at it. You do for a little while, but you really want other people to connect to it. You're craving connection and it's meant to go out into the world and be shared. And then what's hard is not everyone will like it, especially if it's personal. Like the more truth you put into it, the more it'll alienate some people, and then other people will just be like, that is my jam.
Yeah.
But it's so scary. I'm really struggling with this right now. Like, I want more readers. I want more people, but I don't want to be seen. I don't want I don't even want to be vulnerable on social media. Like that's not how I've as a millennial interacted with social media. Like you're kind of fake on social media. You're pretending to be perfect.
Yeah.
And for me, I only show certain facets of my life that I'm comfortable sharing. But I don't know. There's an amazing book called Marketing a Love Story by Bernadette Jiwa, and it's amazing. And I haven't even read the whole thing. I just read like 3 chapters over and over. And she's like, the closer you are to the customer, the more successful you will be. Like Blockbuster was back here, Netflix got closer. And then hotels were back here, and Airbnb is like in your home.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, that's the new market. It's not just finding a reader. It's moving them. Mike Evans was talking to you about this, Russell, where it's not just get a sale. It's like find a new reader who really wants to read everything, like find a true fan. But that's scary because, you're going to meet people who don't like you. And I've just tried to protect my shadow self.
Yeah.
And then it's a primal fear. Like I'm sitting in the writing chair and I'm like tense and I'm in pain because I'm like braced.
Yeah.
And I'm just on a healing journey right now. Like, I know that was messy, but I'm just telling you, like, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
That is like totally cool.
Yeah. So do you want to hear some good news, Lee?
Yes.
I don't think that's true. I mean, I don't think while I do think that fans want connection and that people want connection, I don't think it's to you. I think it's to each other. Like what we're really doing here is having people connect through the work. This is the whole Forest thing, is you give people the shared language to connect with each other. I can tell you now, so I started Happilist this month, which is my like very esoteric membership about how to grow as an author and a human and to like do it all with like, so where it all always feels good to you. And part of that membership is doing breakthrough sessions. And we do 2 a month. We did do 2 this month. I did 1 last month as a test. And the breakthrough sessions are 3 to 5 people who are talking together without me. And can I tell you like how many times when I go into a room to check on them, people get disappointed that I'm there because they were in the middle of a conversation, or like they're all going and like I am the facilitator for that one. Like you can't get very much closer to someone than being on a Zoom call with them and having access to them. But like people don't want to talk to me. They want to talk to each other. That's why they're there. And that is so freeing because I fear they're like 2 hours, like an hour and a half, 2 hours. They're very long. You could do 2 or sometimes we did 3 sessions yesterday. And like, I'm like, oh my God, that's 4 hours a month. Did you know how hard it is to be on camera for 4 hours talking a month? And like, it turns out this is a very easy thing. I set parameters at the morning. They all come back and I like ask people a couple of questions. Sometimes I check on the rooms to make sure like people are being like respectful, but they always are. And then like I just zone out and listen to a podcast the whole time. And like everyone comes back looking so happy. And like it is the least I have ever done, even though people are the closest to me and paying the most outside of a conference. And the conference was the same way. Sure, people were happy to see me, but like people were like, the people that had the best time were like, oh, I took your lead where I saw you were just easy, not in sessions, like doing whatever. And I like took the afternoon off to hang out with these 2 people and get a drink, or like I did X, Y, and Z other thing over here. It had nothing to do with me. I have not, there are people that say some of the best quotes were from there, but nobody says their best experience at that conference was being in front of me. And I love that because it means that I am not integral to the process.
Yeah.
My work is integral to the process. Our work is integral to the process, but only in people feel safe with other people around it so they can connect together and they learn lessons from it that they can impart in themselves.
So creating the space and the sandbox. And see, that was my ego then. My ego's like, well, I have to do more to be worthy. And that's something I'm just healing. And it's like, hold the space, create the playground.
Yes, but don't we all do that? I mean, that's a head and heart thing. That's like ego sounds like so it is ego, but like ego just has that connotation of like, oh, I think I'm all that. And it's not really that. But I also think we go through certain stages where sometimes we feel more vulnerable. And sometimes it doesn't even you don't even know why. So like when you were saying like you're doing like some healing and some I just think that that's okay. Like sometimes we need to take a step back. And then it's kind of like that practice of like checking in. Like sometimes I need to just be with me and my work. And then other times I'm ready because like you said, I'm like, I want to share the shit out of this. Like this is time. And then I step into power. And I think it's this constant lesson of do we need to like do the same thing or be the same person all the time? No. Sometimes we're going to be more isolated as writers. Sometimes we're going to be like pushing ourselves for growth. Sometimes we're going to be like, let's do community now. So I think like trying to be all at once all the time for growth or whatever is just going to annihilate us. I think there's a season for everything because this is such a dynamic crazy career. It's so different from like I used to tell people all the time, I'm not filing. When I got to take your ass to the doctor, I got to come back and it takes me an hour like to get back into the thing. I don't just like go to the drawer and be like or whatever. It's just like a very interruptive type of space.
Yeah, it's so smart because I do think we're always on this like growth to monetization parallel, right? We're like there are seasons to grow, and the best thing to do when you're growing is to make things as cheap or free as possible and focus on because it's growth is about reducing friction, and the biggest friction is money, but it's not the only friction, but like it's usually the so like how can you make things easy to consume so you grow. But you can't grow, you also have to make money. So then you need this other swing. And everyone is somewhere on this parallel at all times.
Yeah.
And like what people tend to want to do both at the same time. But it's really hard to do that. It's even harder to do both well at the same time. And maybe you break even, maybe you make a little bit of money. But when you start thinking about it in seasons, like okay, I'm going to have this launch here. I'm going to then go back and like have a high growth moment here. And then I'm going to like come back and like put together a like virtual conference with a paid component. And all of these things are happening with the same person in the same world, but like they're at very different times in that journey.
Yeah, yeah, that it's so true because growth doesn't necessarily have to be, it doesn't have to be, I mean, sure, yes, growth is money. We all want money. I manifest the crap out of money all the time. Like, I am not afraid of money. I want a lot of it, like, because I could do more and be happy. It buys my freedom. No problem there. But I also can disattach a little bit at times that sometimes growth is very quiet. And growth is sometimes me freaking alone in a room, like just getting it done. And then sometimes growth is I'm gonna, launch bigger Substack, or I want to grow this, or yeah.
I think of it as a root system. When I was on a run, I was like, I'm going to make 7 figures. And I'm such a verbal processor. So I'm like, my goal is $1 million in a year. And I'm just telling everyone. And I'm like, well, I didn't do it this year, but I did do this. And this is what I'm thinking. And at one point I put up a picture of a tree. I said, I think I'm just building out my root system. So then I can grow taller. Mm-hmm. And, for like a sapling, it's like nothing's happening for a while, but the roots are growing and you just don't see it. And I guess I'm doing that now. I'm like, I'm healing. I'm regulating my nervous system, doing all the somatic things. Russell and I talked about that last podcast, like your diet, your energy pennies, your energy levels, your sleep. And you gave me all the resources. It's like, let's go, because if I don't want to break my career. I love that you've been doing this for 35 years. I love writing too much to allow my love of, I guess, my hustle culture mentality to break this. I told that to my new coach. I was like, I love it. And I want to do it. I want to do it for 35 years. I'm in my 10th year.
Yeah, girl, I hear you. We all want to do it. But looking back, the other thing that people don't realize is that when you're on a growth spurt, when this started for me, and I all of a sudden everything went viral, and making money and all of your dreams come true, and you're the lottery ticket, even though you've been writing penniless for 20 years, like building your roots. But the biggest thing that I didn't know was that like it could go away. Like markets change, editors drop, everything. And so when it first happens, you're like, this is it, man. I made it forever. And then, 8 years later or whatever, you're like, what do you mean? Like, I don't have the money coming in? Or what do you mean this market isn't hot anymore? What do you mean third person POV isn't? What do you mean KU? I can go and like put a million things in. But for me, it is the perseverance and being fearless enough or having the fear and stepping in to reinvent. I am constantly reinventing. I had a point where I was at the top and I had gotten fired from all of my publishers because the sales weren't there. My advances were gone. Everything was gone. And I've got this big ass house and all of this and my kids to pay for. And thank God my husband is, the steadier one with the benefits and stuff. But like it was one of these real light bulb moments. And the thing that comes that people don't talk about, you talk about like real vulnerability, is the shame.
Yes.
Is ridiculous, but hey, emotions are sometimes the shame of telling people, I'm not what you think. I'm not as good as you think. Like, I don't know where to go. And for me, I had to have a frank talk with my husband and be like, I've got to pivot and I need a year minimum to rebuild. So there's not going to be a lot of money coming in. I've got to decide who to cut in and I had built a system of assistants or this. So you've got to like go back. And then I had to cut to the bone. But what was the main thing? The writing. I had to write differently. I went into Montlake. I went into Amazon, I rebuilt. And then a couple of years, it exploded again. I was back on top. And son of a bitch, if that thing didn't go back down again, like the foundation cut out. And then I had to redo it. And it was right around your conference time where I was like, this is what I've been studying for a year to do differently, to pivot, to like do new things, to not be afraid. And I needed like exactly what you said. And I'm sorry, this was spiraling, but like the root system. So I think that's just important for people to know that roots can sometimes be ripped out and you got to reseed, and you have to not be so afraid. You have to lean in and like make your plan and then, and then just like redo everything.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to somebody at Comic-Con. I was like, you know what the benefit? Do you know what you get for writing your first book? The ability to write the second one. You know what you get for writing your 43rd book? The only thing you are guaranteed is the ability to write the 44th book. And that feels really freeing at like 22. At 42, like when you've been like, wait, but I don't want to write for like, I don't have an idea for book 43. Like, I want to just like go and like make movies, and I want to like start a tech like whatever that thing is. Like you get this, and I see this all the time. You get then pinned and pigeonholed, and this and you're like, well, it's like what we're really trying to do is create space. Like create space in a day that can be filled with anything. And currently we are using books, because that is what we are passionate about, to like buttress up the thing that like is the space. And sometimes that love will continue on and you can keep doing that for like 50 years. But like you need the space to be able to say, I have no book for 2 years. And like, okay, well, like that's okay, because otherwise you're exchanging a job for a shittier job, because like there's no benefits, there's all expectations. Like, yes, you like the work, but like, I'll be honest, I am so sick of like dreaming of labor, or like dreaming of jobs, or like telling people they should like the dream job of being a writer. James Baldwin said this in the 80s. He said, I have no dream job, for I do not dream of labor. And like I dream of space. I dream of capacity. Yeah. I dream of these things that books can make happen. But like, I did this podcast called The Complete Creative, and we had like, I originally had like 100 episodes of a different podcast, and then I did like it was all about how to live a life for like 60 years. So I've been obsessed with this forever. And after about 20 interviews, I was like, oh, you guys have literally all said the same thing, the almost the exact same thing, which is the secret is you have to be willing to burn it all down and start again whenever the fire goes out.
Mm,
Love that. I'm
yeah.
not afraid to burn things down because I think if you do it, it's what you're so afraid of, right? The biggest fear is that it all goes away. But once it does go all away, it is the most freeing thing ever because it's like, I think any growth moment, which is personal, a career, you realize, hey, it could have been bad. Yeah, it was messy, but like you just get through it and you rebuild on different ground and then you can do it again and again. And I think that sometimes when it happens to you, it's the most freeing because all of a sudden you're like, wow, it happened. I'm still here. I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to do, whatever. But I do agree about the space. I want a life. When people say, if you want to be a 7-figure author, but you can't take a vacation or a weekend or whatever, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. But I don't think that is true. I think that, anybody can have a rich monetary lifestyle and build it so you have space in between. But my life has always come first. Like I like, just like you said, Russell, I freaking love going to the movies and hanging with my kids and vacations and dinners out and just space. It's so important.
Yeah, I always tell people, I'm like, nothing I do to like none of the writing I do today is what I live on. Like I am not living on today's writing.
Yeah.
Thus, you cannot say that actual effort is equal to result. The things that I do now are amplifications of things I did in the past, maybe an hour in the past, like maybe a year in the past, maybe 10 years in the past. But like the thing that people are paying me for now is not the effort I put now. So there must be a disconnect between effort and money. And we live in a puritanical society that has been told like effort equals work. And for a lot of people, it is. Like if you are a coach, you are getting paid to do a thing now. If you are a farm worker, you are digging a ditch and like you are being paid for that effort. But like if you are a writer, like even if you are a writer, unless you like have a deadline of today and you do have a day and people are paying every time, you are not being paid for the effort you put forth. So you then can take everything you do and amplify that to eternity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I love that because it's also saying that things that you did 10 years ago is energetically making you money today. But like we don't think like that. Like it's what we're doing. It does. Like that's a really cool concept.
And
like
it changes. We talk, Russell was like, what's your KPI? Like, what are you measuring and what are you going for? And is it what you really want? And I've just been thinking about that over and over and over again. Like, do I want to put my nose to the grindstone and try to write some words today? Or do I want to daydream? And I really want to get to where I can be so vulnerable that I tap into my best creative self. Like I can produce my best work, but it's not by like clenching and going, I'm going to be the best. It's about loving myself and opening up, which leads me to the name of your new book and your Kickstarter. I want to write naked, which is what you're writing about. I was like, yes, I love this as a spicy author, writing naked. But to me, it speaks about you're so vulnerable and you're only able to be that vulnerable because you've given yourself the safe space and the love, the support. And my husband supports me. Like he's the steady for sure. Like I'm really grateful to him. And it sounds like, you have a guy like that too. So
I did. I got like really lucky with him. He is just kind of like, I mean, he's the type to like stick his head in and throw me like my dinner, like, okay, I might see you tomorrow. And he's also the type, God bless this man, he's military. So he would like literally come home and be in his military and be like, yeah, so at the end of the meeting, I made an announcement. Go to my wife, Jennifer Pope. She's got a new romance novel. Buy it for everybody. Like he hawks those romance books, and they'll be like, Ray, are you on page 136? And he'd be like, just buy the book. So it's so fun. It's so fun to have him because he's totally different from me.
That's awesome.
That is great. But like so how does Lee has a problem that like seemingly Write Naked, like how does she set up the structure to do this? Like how does someone actually like, yes, like how can we all write naked?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why I did so Write Naked came out, God, it was like 10 years ago, I think. And that it was kind of like a breakout type of book because for me, I eat writing books for breakfast. I can't get enough of them. My shelves are filled with them. I love like taking different ideas and philosophies. But one of my favorite was, of course, Stephen King on writing. And I kept going back to sometimes the books, like it's fine if it was like how to, do your inciting incident or like if it was like something to do or grow in 30 days, that kind of stuff. But what I really loved is the space of like essay type of things because writing is not about one thing. It's about 5 million things put together. And so for me, it was just, I wanted to like touch base with all of those feelings because when we sit down to write, we have all of these demons all the time. And it doesn't matter if you're a new writer or you're a published writer. First you're thinking about your, elderly aunt reading your sex scenes. And then when you're like 20 books in, you're thinking, my editor is going to hate it. This isn't going to work for the market. This isn't, I'm not going to get a movie deal from it. There's just so many voices. So for me, it's just very open essays. And I do go through craft, but I go through the craft of like main things for me, which is just like characters, theme, like just like deep resonation of like the pillars of that. And then I talk a lot about the writing life because you're not just there to write a story, you're there to like get your mind, like we talk about mind and body awareness, and we throw the term joy around, and I'll say that in the course a lot. So basically Write Naked and the course is, I wanted to do something different where instead of going like to California and doing a keynote and being paid like a lot of money and like really inspiring people, like I have this segment called All You Need Is One. And I go very deep into that one reader, that one book, that one chapter, and how breaking it down is very loving for ourselves. And then we give the space and the kindness to like move forward in all of this stuff. But instead of like picking a keynote here or there, a workshop here and there, I'm like, I want to go on screen one-on-one. So it's not like a bunch of PowerPoints. There's other courses for that. I'm a course junkie. There's a course for everything. And I love that. But this is very different. It's kind of like you can, almost like a book, you can pick up a module and get a hit of me for 10 minutes. And it's just me one-on-one, like there's like 3 to 5 minute tips and tricks. Well, I'll come on and be like, how do you want to find joy today? Or how do you want to do that? Then there's craft sessions. Then there's, let's go really into like blue ocean marketing, but let's do marketing that's for you, not what 500 other people are doing. And that also goes to your personality, which goes to all the things like the Gallup strengths, the Clifton Finder, right? Like the Enneagram, like who you are as a person, who you are as a writer. So I feel like the course is very to figure out what type of writer you are, support you like block by block, and me being in your ear for all of it, like the whole book. So I feel like you can dip in and dip out of the course, which to me is fun. You don't have to start with like module 1 and like go up. You could be like, oh, I feel like I need this today, or I feel like I want to concentrate on craft today, or I think that I need a little kick-ass today. So that's what I really wanted to be, like just me on the screen, kind of like taking you through all the components of what makes a writer, from lifestyle to craft to sitting to marketing to process to finding your ideal reader. I go big into branding and how you can bring authenticity into branding. So a little bit of everything in one snowball.
I'm so excited. And I've never heard anyone talk about blue ocean strategy. And I would like
with that
to absorb that book. So yes, I have now backed your Kickstarter. Thank you so much.
You're so adorable.
I'm always like, I love Jennifer. And it's another thing though, like it's another thing. And But I also collect the courses and
I do too, and I love them. I don't regret any course that I've done. You know what I mean? But and that's why I wanted it. Like you don't have to binge this one. It's kind of like always there, and you can kind of pull stuff up. Like if you just want almost like a friend in your ear, but somebody who's been around the block, and also like it's a little woo woo, but not like I'm not crazy woo woo. I'm kind of raw about like, guys, like this isn't easy, but you're got like I have this like really cool component where I talk about fear and I like really kind of kick your ass. And I'm kind of like, yeah, you're afraid, do it anyway. Like this is what we're going to do to get you there. Cause sometimes you got to leap too.
yeah, I'm learning like you have to move forward to teach your nervous system that it won't kill you. Like, so it sucks, but you're like literally take this step and feel the suckiness. And then you're like, oh, I did not die. And then your nervous system's like, oh, okay, we can it sucks, but
that's it.
I love it.
A part of the course. That's exactly right. You have to train your body to like not, you know what I mean? Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. This is something that Karen and I have been doing so much in the last few years that like, that's like your body has to know. It's funny because Lee actually said it first. She said, I only worry about millionaire problems. And I was like, I wonder what the root is in that. And it sent me down like a deep rabbit hole of like, oh, it's because like, you know, the things that come from like, you know, things are survivable. Like, you know, all this stuff is like maybe not going to be okay today, but like even if your Kindle, even if your Amazon account like goes away
down. Yes,
like
it has happened multiple times.
Yeah.
Right.
And remember Facebook, Russell, that awful thing when you were like, I just lost million, like bad stuff happens. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the real so I had a call with somebody earlier this week, and I was like, okay, you were doing book 1, but like you're committing to book 4, which means like you're going to spend the next 2 years on this thing. And she's like, yes. It's like, okay, well, like what can we do now so that in 2 years that book 4 when it launches like does great? And like when you start thinking about that capacity or that ability to go from 5 figures to 7 figures, or yes, you might not get 1,000 pre-orders on book 1 of this series, but like I have almost no doubt that anyone could get a 1,000 pre-orders on book 4 of a series if that is the thing that they're focused on. But then, as we talked about earlier, we're suddenly doing 900 things, and like we're told to like build the Facebook group and like build a Substack and all of this stuff. And I asked someone had posted about something in something that I said, and it was like, he said, should I use Kickstarter or should I use Substack? Like basically like, should I use Substack or like have the bounds of like being on this platform changed? And I was like, well, it's really important that you understand they're 2 different things. Like if your goal is to be laser focused on that one goal of like getting your next Kickstarter to get to 10,000, then like being on Substack is not probably going to help that because it's about diffusion.
Yeah.
But like for like Lee or anyone on this call, like we've been doing it so long that people are searching for us on different places, and then they're more frustrated that they can't find us on a place than they are excited to have this little niche. And so there's like a thing where it's like, well, if you want to be, if being everywhere is part of your strategy, because like either you just want to do the energy pennies, the putting pennies in the bank, like Monica talks about, or because like you are just well known enough that not being on platforms is more onerous than being on platforms, especially if people are emailing you like, where can I find your book? I'm like, I don't want those emails. So like, I'm just like, I'm everywhere. Like fine. One day I was like, I concede. Like I'll put my books on platforms because like I just am sick of getting this email. And the same thing happened with the nonfiction stuff too. And like my biggest fear when the nonfiction books came down from when Writer MBA ended was, oh my God, people are going to email me wondering where the books are. I'm going to have that. Like that is the main overriding thing. And if that is your overriding thing, then it's going to take longer to build, but it will be more stable than just being on this platform. So it's like, do you want to take the concentrated effort to make your book have 1,000 pre-orders? Because like you can do that. And also if you have unlimited money to spend, like you could make your first book have 1,000 pre-orders. Some of my clients have like day jobs and they're like bummed about it. And I'm like, this is a gift. Like It's a gift. You can take money and invest it in a way that other people cannot. You could when you have book one, you can give it away to free for everyone. And other people can't do that. So like, what is the goal and how do you want to expend that effort to get there?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the no, there's no one fit all. What is it? Mayer said there's many roads to Oz. That was like his big thing. And I like that and again, you break it down even further and it's where are you right now? Because if life is challenging, you need to shrink where you're going to be. And then when you're in like a growth period, a big period, a positive period or whatever, that may be where you want to try some new things and put in your arsenal. But I think that being everywhere and doing it perfectly that's having it all. I don't want it all. Like I don't want it all.
Yeah. I'm learning that growth isn't about focus. It's about taking one thing and scaling it to the moon. It's actually, I said that wrong. Growth is about focus. And growth is less about doing more things. It's about doing one thing.
Simple thing.
Yeah. And refining it until the message is so clear, it can get as an earworm into 1 billion people's ears. And yeah.
Yeah. We both read The Science of Scaling. Are you done with it? Because that's like the whole book.
I'm not, but I keep getting sidetracked. I need to focus. I'm afraid of this book. It's free on scaling.com. You can get the audiobook. Because I'm a very big goal person and I set this 7-figure thing. And then I was like, I'm not setting another money goal because I will break myself hitting it. And writing is too important to me. I don't want to break myself. And like right now, my goal is to heal.
Yeah.
And build those roots out. So then I can go for 1 billion readers or 1 billion sales or 1 billion true fan. I don't know. Like I'm a big thinker and I'm working with a coach and she's like, I can't coach you on any of that yet. Your nervous system is so frazzled and fried. You need to regulate. So
it's your strength, it's your Enneagram, it's your personality, it's whatever. But isn't it so wild that they always say, I think I was doing a coaching call and I was like you, I was like, I'm doing all the things, everything's out. Where's the money? Where's that growth? Like, I am telling you, I knocked this out of the park. And she said to me, I wanted to strangle her. She's like, you have to let it go. And I'm like, don't tell me to let it go. But she said the energy is so blocked because of all of I thought passion and focus, but I was actually bringing more negativity to it. And she said, it's just this awful like contradiction of stepping back and letting all my work just like accept and like flowing like a river, which like just sounds so lovely, doesn't it? But it's hard as hell.
It is, but it's easier.
It's
easier because what Russell said was I got out of my way and now I'm like, oh God, I need to do that. There's so many places.
Yeah.
I just need to get out of the way and like trust.
Yeah.
But I'm hyper independent because I don't want to trust anyone because I'm scared.
Yeah.
That's when healing comes in.
Are you though hyper independent or are you dependent on people needing you?
Oh, shut up, Russ.
I mean,
I love you.
I love being needed.
They check you guys out, these coaches who say wild things. I am personally attacked.
Well, I want to say something about the Science of Scaling thing, because that is not the book that is not what I got out of the book. What I got out of the book is if you are not able to scale, your message is not simple enough. And it means you're doing too many things and you need to shed and shed and shed. So in a time of like that you're in now feels like the perfect time for me to be like, okay, well, if I can't drop something and have it immediately go, the message isn't simple enough. So how do I simplify? How do I get things, how do I cut things out? Like how do I make sure that whatever I'm doing, I'm not doing 50 of them because like that has been my career. I've always done like 50 things and I'm trying really hard to like do less things well. But because I'm an aquatic, I have very hard time explaining the things that I do. So I just have to like I had to like let a bunch of stuff go and be like, oh, that carries, that carries, that carries. And now I can be like, okay, I know where it is simple because those things that are already carrying are the things that will amplify by themselves when like you put force behind them. Like that's what I have like so if the thing is not growing either like you have shown it to no people or you've shown it to enough people and they're just like maybe they like it but it doesn't have the expansion ability because it's not doing it on its own. And so every time we write another book in that series that's not carrying, unless it's like our heart book that we don't care, every time we write that series you're like, okay, I know this does not carry, so either I have to go back and write every book in the series so it carries, or I can take all the things I learned about this series and make a series that does carry. But you are going to be doubling or tripling or quadrupling your cost of like getting a lead, or like there's all of these things that might make it amplify. But at some point, you reach the end and you're like, oh my God, I have redone the covers, I've redone the blurbs, people are reading it and just read through's okay and nobody's talking about it. And like that is a really tough thing to watch because there's things that I love that I want so badly for people for it to carry. And when you have and when people find it, they love it. But like I need these other things to carry so that things get back to me and then I can say, "Oh, you got the very baseline of the message. Like you get it. Like let me actually show you how to implement it though. Like let me take you down like this rabbit hole." And that is what I got from this book was just like if you're not scaling, like you're not simple enough. And like if it's not carrying, like it won't carry. And like that's fixable sometimes, but like sometimes you just need to break the thing and get a new message and see if the thing carries then. And if it does, then you can put money into it and expand.
Yeah, simplify. Like to the simple. There's so many nuggets of like inspiration through this conversation, and like there's so many aspects of it. But I do like that because sometimes like we can complicate everything, and if you simplify, but it is scary to sometimes see the truth. It's true.
Right.
There's always now. So I flip that philosophy a lot because I think that you can get too attached to growing that one thing or wanting that one thing to work because you're so passionate, especially like I'm also a forest. So it's kind of like, I love this thing and people will come, like, and then sometimes it's like, no, people aren't coming, but it doesn't matter because it's how you value the work and
Right.
yourself. And I talk a lot about value in the course, a lot about like valuing that one book that can sometimes is just not its time. I've had things like you were saying, that energy of your previous creations coming back. So I just don't think anything is a loss, whether it's not selling at that time. It's like it's in your arsenal. It brings it forward. There's always this hope of like a new market or a new thing that gets me up in the morning. I'm like, instead of like, oh, I didn't, I lost myself in that book and it didn't make a penny to me. I'm like, what's going to happen today? Maybe this book will be high on Amazon with my Facebook ad. Or so sometimes that helps like get through the bumps.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is transmuted and nothing is lost.
Yeah. And a lot of those ones that don't work, you can put into a bundle with something that does work, and suddenly like you're making money on it. It's
Yeah.
funny because I actually learned this from you, Lee. I learned this entire thing from you because you had an art, you had that you were talking one episode about your ad person who looked at all of your stuff and was like, that's the one you run ads on.
Just
And
one
like that's really what I'm saying. It's like not to not do the heart book. It's just like if you're doing a heart book, price it at $10. Like price it at a premium because like selling it is not going to lead to 10 sales. But like if your book is going to carry, then like you should then make it cheap or free, or like you should do everything you can to get it into as much hands as possible. And so, yeah, I learned that like the reason that it clicked when I saw in Science of Scaling was because I learned it from you, that episode we were talking about your ad things, and that like only once of all of your series are great. And like I know because I've read at least one book and many of them, but like that, I understand why that is the one that carries today. Maybe not next year. Maybe like next year, like Soul to the Berserker series will like be the one. But like in the current condition now, we know what is the thing that will carry. And it's kind of boring to be like, can I talk about another series? And you're
No,
like, no, you can't. Like
take that
you,
one book, send it to the moon, and then let everything else just do whatever it's going to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had my friend texted me yesterday and was like, she was like, should I start a Substack? And I was like, well, why do you want to start a Substack? She's like, well, I messaged my people and 100 of them said that they would give me $50 a year. And I was like, and then she's talked about how like her like email list is kind of like not growing. And I was like, but that's weird. Like if your problem is growth, how does making more money impact the growth part of this like equation? And like it didn't. Like I was like, you are well monetized. When someone comes into your thing, you have all this stuff. And like I know $5,000 a year looks like a lot now, but like then you are committing to a year of doing this thing. So like let us actually try to fix the growth problem. And like what is the thing that will fix the growth problem is like intentionally trying to find something that will grow so that you get amplification on it over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's so great about a coach, though, because it's that neutral look. We're so in our stuff. It is so hard. Even our friends, our writer friends and groups and stuff, like just having somebody like look at everything and see neutrally like where things are. Sometimes we're just too close for comfort. We can't see it.
Yeah. And on top of that, sometimes we're just energetically want to move to something else, but it's work because like this is something I've come up a bunch of times in the past month. People are like, why aren't I growing? I'm like, well, you were growing and then you squirreled to this other thing. And like you're not growing because your energy is not in here. Like I was like, you know how to grow. You know what is, but like you don't want to use that growth lever because it's easy. You figured it out and now like you want something new and fun. And it's like, unfortunately, like a lot of success is just looking at a boring thing that you've talked about 1,000 times and continuing to like talk and talk and talk and talk.
Scale it to the moon. Yeah.
Same but different. Everybody wants to sit the same but different. Their comfort. They can read like 50 of the same type of books if it's the same but different. And it's the same thing in your writing, your author, like how to keep doing it over and over if it's successful and growth. But yeah, I see also a lot of people just blowing it up because they do not want to do that thing anymore. They're just like tired. And I think as long as you see the writing on the wall and you're ready to jump, I think sometimes your soul just cries out, I cannot do this one thing again. I am meant for something else. And that's when you'll see a pen name or a, you know what I mean? Somebody will kind of like be away for a little while as they're rebuilding and I think that's important too. I think that's the humankind in us. Like maybe we don't want to do the thing that grows for us and makes us the most money for the rest of your life. Maybe that's okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is okay. But to
Yeah.
go back to the space conversation,
Yeah.
instead of blowing it up, what if instead you could hire and systematize it out so it continues to make the money with like those are the two options that people
Yes.
are like either I write another book or I blow everything up and don't work
Yes.
in there. But like you've got money coming in.
Yes.
So like you could just make maybe not the same amount of money, maybe not the
Yeah.
same profit, but like if you just built a system for this
Yeah.
thing you don't want to look at, you
Yeah.
then don't have to look at it and you could have other still be making money from it to do the other thing. And you do that 5 or 6 times in your career and suddenly you're making like a bunch of money and you don't have to think about that thing.
That's so wow. I don't think I ever thought about the middle ground. I'm kind of like, you do this, you do that, because doing the middle ground, I don't think I ever thought about like what that would take or what I would need. That is brilliant. I love it. That's 3 options there.
Yeah. It's
Many paths to all.
yeah. And when we move away from the like the only way to make money is to write the next book and we start doing the thing you were talking about earlier about like, well, this is an asset. Well, it's like you could sit on that asset and not do anything for 2 years, but it's still going to be an asset in 2 years. It's still going to be an asset when like in the last 2 years, I've moved almost exclusively from doing fiction to doing nonfiction stuff. And like, but like those books still exist. Like they are still good. I'm not going back and rewriting them or recovering them or doing anything for them, but like I could monetize that at any time. And so, yes, I love the middle ground.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a Tundra and my instinct is to blow up one thing to like when I'm behind me, like the in order to have the thing that I said earlier where like what I'm doing today is not making me money, the thing that I did 10 years ago is making me money. I had to learn that like, oh, like people can talk about Kickstarter. I'm not going to talk about Kickstarter unless I'm asked. But like, if you want to come into my universe, read my book, buy my course, join Hapitalist, and talk about Kickstarter, amazing. Like, I know that is an amplification lever, and I just looked back at 8 years ago. I was complaining that everyone wanted to talk to me about Kickstarter because I didn't want to be known as the Kickstarter guy. I wanted to be known for my work, and like literally my entire career is I don't want to be the Kickstarter guy until like we did the Kickstarter Accelerator, and she's like, you're going to be a Kickstarter guy. I was like, yeah, but like
just
that's where money is.
It's just give me the money. Sometimes it's okay. And then the money allows you to.
Yeah, but Lee, right? It's the entryway though. You were the Kickstarter guy, but like people freaking followed you. You like once we're like, yeah, okay, we trusted you with the Kickstarter, you brought us thing. All right, what's the next one? So that happens too. Like you bring them in this way. I sometimes don't blow things up. I just quietly leave it in my backlist or there. And I'm like, I'm gonna go explore this. I'm gonna bring as many people as I can. It's cool if you don't like it. And I'll say to my readers, hey, if you like my Italy books or whatever, hang on, you're good for this one, but you may not want to read my spicy thing. It's kind of being clear about what you're offering and kind of, so I've been dragging mine around for 30 years. I'm just like, come with me here.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Yeah. It's easy to see in nonfiction that is a ridiculous thing to be like, blow up your life to like, even though people want to pay you for it. And yet it is the prevailing wisdom in fiction to blow it up and just like never think about it again.
Yeah. That's so important.
Well, we've been going about an hour. Lee, do you have any other questions or any other things to talk about?
I'm looking up the Italy series. Also, I love your accent. And I could listen to you forever. So, Cinque Terre. Okay. So while I wait for the course, I know what I'm reading. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I hope to see you in the Millionaire Author Mastermind, sharing advice anytime you want. And people from the podcast know that they can meet us in the group and keep the conversation going. So that's it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, guys. I had so much fun.
Amazing. This was great. And we'll see you next time, everyone. Bye.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. For more, head on over to sixfigureauthorexperiment.com for archive access, resources, and more. We'll see you next time.